Welcome, friends. This is James Corbett of CorbettReport.com coming to you on the 22nd of November 2015, 6 p.m. Japanese time. And as I record this, Brussels is in lockdown as the next wave of terror hysteria sweeps across the European continent. But while that is happening, why don't we take a look at a few stories that expose this war of terror for what it really is, manufactured hysteria for a specific political purpose? Well, let's start at a most unlikely source, the Washington Post, that has this story. This video shows the absurdity of the war in Syria in one single blown-up Humvee. And this video shows what is clearly a U.S.-supplied anti-tank guided missile firing at what is clearly a U.S.-made Humvee. And yes, for those who are left in suspense, yes, it does hit its target and explode. So there you go. So you have the U.S.-backed FSA, Free Syrian Army fighter, firing a U.S. missile at a U.S. target, backed by probably a U.S.-trained ISIS fighter, as we know that, of course, a lot of the ISIS fighters were trained in Jordan a couple of years ago through a then covert operation that we talked about on Boiling Frogs Post and at the Corbett Report before the mainstream media finally reported on it. So yes, absolutely, we have top to bottom the absurdity of the war in Syria, which we've been told for years is some sort of internal civil war type conflict, despite the fact that all the players and all of their equipment and all of the military action that's going on is foreign supplied, foreign backed, foreign trained, foreign armed, foreign equipped, foreign money is greasing the skids of this war on all sides. You have a foreign force coming in to try to attack a foreign funded proxy army, and somehow this is some sort of internal Syrian conflict that we're asked to believe. Well, anyway, as I say, the Washington Post, a broken clock, right twice a day, or twice a millennia in this case, and this might be one of those times, at least a partial truth there. Another interesting story, this one from moonofalabama.org. PBS NewsHour uses Russian airstrike footage while claiming U.S. airstrike successes. And that refers back to this TV report that aired a couple of days ago.
Since the Paris attacks, the forces arrayed against ISIS have been pounding the territory it holds. And specifically hitting oil it's been extracting for sale, as oil is a key.
Well, that's interesting. What footage are they using there? Oh, yes, that footage. That looks familiar. Oh, right. That's because no, it's not American forces. It's not any of the American-backed ISIL, anti-ISIL coalition. It is the Russian forces bombing those oil tankers. PBS using the footage as if this is part of the American-backed strikes that are happening right now, when, of course, it is not. And the funniest part of this story, I think, is that on this PBS NewsHour clip, not only do you have a very strong dislike ratio on the video, but the comments are almost uniformly, you've got to be kidding me. Not only did these U.S. scumbags show Russian footage as their own, they even have the gall to also claim the transportation that Russia bombed, etc., etc., using Russian video of Russian attacks on ISIS oil tankers to claim these attacks as American, referring specifically to this part of the clip.
Against ISIS's main source of revenue is paying off. For the first time, the U.S. is attacking oil delivery trucks.
Yes, the U.S. is attacking oil delivery trucks, but here, clearly, the Russian combat footage that they're using. So, again, it's not an outright fabrication. They're not saying this is American footage, but they are certainly implying it, and everyone is calling them out for it, which is heartening to see, because people can see through the propaganda. Yes. Interesting. Well, and another story that caught my eye in the past few days, BC Canada Day terror plot trial judge says RCMP may have acted illegally. This is talking about John Nuttall and Amanda Carodi, who were found guilty in June of 2015 of trying to blow up the BC legislature back in 2013, which seems like an open shut, the war on terror and the home front in Canada kind of case, until the BC Supreme Court judge Catherine Bruce ruled earlier this week that, you know what, it looks like there is a sufficiently close link between the illegal acts committed by the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Mounties, and the prosecution of the accused to support an abusive process claim. And when you start to get into the details of this case, it's unfortunately, like so many others we've read about before, over the course of the investigation, undercover officers posing as jihadi warriors gave Nuttall and Carodi groceries, cigarettes, bus passes, cell phones, phone cards, clothing, cash, and a portable hard drive. They also provided the pair with a place to work on their terrorist scheme and a location to build the explosives, chauffeured them to the various stores to purchase bomb-making equipment, and transported them to and from Victoria and around the Lower Mainland over the course of the 4-month sting operation, i.e. they absolutely helped in every single stage and every part of the process of this dastardly terrorist plot, which could not have existed without the active complicity of the RCMP in helping bring it to fruition. As we have seen, again, unfortunately, it's not a great thing to note, but it's unfortunately not just in Canada, although this has happened before in Canada, but around the world, as even the New York Times has noted, terrorist plots hatched by the FBI. Again, almost every single averted terrorist plot of the past 15 years in the United States has been actually funded into existence and equipped and made to happen because of the FBI. So again, even the New York Times has covered that in the past. On this Canadian story in particular, my man Dan Dix over at Press for Truth has made a video about this, so I would suggest you go check that out as he goes into the history of this case and the players behind it and talks about what it means for Canadian politics in particular. But as I say, it is an international phenomenon. All of this, again, just part of this ratcheting up of the terror hysteria at this political moment, of course, because of the problem reaction solution of Paris and the Paris attacks, which has kicked this off into a new level for the furthering of the next stage of this conflict, which we are seeing, obviously kicking off into high gear right now. It's important that we undermine these stories and show them for what they are, so I'll include the links to all of these reports, of course, in this video, as well as my latest article, the Problem Reaction Solution Paris Edition article that breaks down all of the really worrying new trends that have suddenly sprung up as politically feasible in the wake of Paris, because, well, don't let a good crisis go to waste, as many a politician has averred in the past. And that is going to do it for today. Of course, we'll continue updating these situations as they continue to unfold at CorbettReport.com. Thank you for your time.